Speed, welcome to the show for everyone. This is Extra Speed on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makurdi. I am King James YiYE, and of course it happens every day. It's Friday, and of course, no dull moment. We've never had anyone. King James together with
Mmemshima King
and Ted, terwase, Aya-Mnger.
All right, so this Friday we're looking at reconciliation. If you like, I can add the power of reconciliation. And, well, we don't want to restrict it to family and friends, but of course our intention is to look at family and friends first, because before we do anything with a larger outside society, as it is our tradition here, we begin from the family, which is the nucleus of the society. So reconciliation, how do you reconcile with someone when you offend them? You can tell us when you call 08084 275464. That's 08084 275464. And tell us. We are also streaming live on YouTube. There's youtube.com/@asking-radio. At is that @ sign you use in Gmail. So youtube.com/@asking-radio. Right. So as King James is Extra Speed, it is reconciliation. And let's hear from you. As always and as usual, we've got Aya-Mnger too, talking to people. Whether they understand reconciliation or not is another thing, but we'll be going to them. Back to the studio. How do you reconcile with King James when you offend him, Memshi?
Okay, how I reconcile with you, although it's difficult, yeah. But
Oh, so you're always offending me? And
no.
well,
No, I don't.
okay.
I don't. Well, first, I try not to. To say sorry is difficult because I know you wouldn't even accept the sorry. First of all,
Why?
Wow. Sorry is not your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just feel for you. You feel maybe you shouldn't do that again. So sorry is not your. In fact, I feel it provokes you when I even say sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I feel. But I think I try to make a move by talking to you. Then I just being a little bit close, just being in your presence a little bit. At least you would understand that. Okay, I'm trying to say I'm sorry instead of me saying I'm sorry for what I did. Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So Ted, let's hear from you.
Yeah, for me, the word sorry itself is, to me, is an insult. I rather have you act it out than say it. I wouldn't approach you to say sorry because I did this, but I'd rather correct what I did wrong by doing it right and making sure that I make it deliberate in your presence, so you see that what I did wrong, where I erred, I have corrected it, so you are confident that, okay, I've corrected myself and next time it will happen, rather than say sorry, because sorry sometimes becomes repeated. It becomes a pattern, becomes a word that people are so used to that they say I'm sorry. Somebody will say I'm sorry, then say I'm sorry now. Forcing it down your throat.
Exactly, that you must accept it. Yeah. So that is how it works. So reconciliation begins with sorry. Is that what we are saying? Or Memshi, you particularly?
For me, if you need to reconcile with me, once you tell me sorry, I think I'm good with that. Yeah, I'm very good with that. But even before you even tell me sorry, I think I've forgiven you. I hardly take things that serious. But sorry is my thing.
I see. It's Extra Speed on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. Catch us if you can. It's reconciliation, and we're here on Extra Speed. Okay, so let's take this announcement and then we'll return to Extra Speed, so that it will go in anywhere. But just listen to this announcement. Nigeria Computer Society NCS Benue State Chapter organizes 2024 IT Week Award Dinner. Theme: Mobilizing Benue for Digital Reality for Sustainable Development in the 21st Century. Date is July 18th and 19th, 2024. Venue: Greg & Co. ICT Limited, number 4, GP216, Gondu Alu Road, Old GRA, Makudi. Time is 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for day 1, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. day 2. Highlight: keynotes, presentation, quiz, hackathon, and award. Let's all be there. Announcer is Bo Grace Doshima. 2024 IT Week Award Dinner Organizing Committee Chairperson for Nigeria Computer Society Benue State Chapter. That's reconciliation. Yeah. Okay, so they were waiting to listen to this before 8, and they're already calling Joe in Abuja and saying they've not listened to it. So we have given them intra-program spot. We should be
higher than
the normal spot. And I was just telling Joe that they should calm down. Just calm down. We're going to take your announcement. So that's reconciliation, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so
without saying sorry.
Yeah.
You acted it out.
Okay, so that's that. Okay, so we go back to Alamashagodebi team.
All right.
And hear what people are saying about reconciliation. And okay, they're saying more like, can reconciliation take place without apology? So which one should we hear from them? What they think reconciliation is?
I think what they think reconciliation is.
Or how do they reconcile with someone when they offend them? Perhaps that was the question. Family and friends. As Asking Radio as extra speed. Stay tuned.
AskingRadio.com app available on Android and iOS devices. Download now.
If somebody offends you, what you have to do is to show love. Let your love cover that thing which you are offended of. You have to show love, and love is bearing the unbearable. So you reconcile with that person by showing more love. In spite of love, whatever that person does, love persists. So that thing which is to you as offense, you beat it down because of love, and love is so exceeding. So you decide to give it pardon. If you reckon with human behavior, mistakes, flaws, then you will not show love. So love don't resist anything. In spite of your offense, let love to cover that.
What is this saying?
Ted.
It's love. The theme is love. To show love. It's not just about saying sorry, not just about going to apologize to the person and then life continues, but you have to act. After that, you have to act. You have to show love to the person, for the person to like forgive and probably maybe forget whatever went wrong. I think that's what, if I can understand it well. So I got.
So did he ended up preaching? Did he tell us how he reconciles with someone when he?
I think that was on a general note. But some people, when they say if you, referring to saying you, sometimes it's actually them. They're using
no, but I mean, when I, that's what they should be telling us. Not you. You is not me.
Yeah.
So they
I
shouldn't be
feel
telling
basically
us.
for him, it's love. Even if you offend him,
show love.
he would still show love to you. Even if you don't tell him sorry or not, he will still show love, because he's more like love. It's bearing the unbearable, So it's just about love for him.
So, but it doesn't make sense to me. We are asking you, how do you reconcile with someone? So love, how? If you love, then you offend, and then do what? You carry love and say love, and then you reconcile. It doesn't
No,
make sense to me.
he just, as he said, he was preaching. So I believe he was going according to the scriptures for him. So it's more like, even if you offend me, I will still show love.
Sometimes, see, these things are not practical. When people begin to carry scriptures, when you ask them a very simple thing, very practical human thing, and they carry scriptures, yes, scriptures have said, how do you do it? That's just the question.
But if those are the principles and the tenets that he's living by, he's bound to go that way by talking about love as a foundation. Because I think, even without thinking of scriptures, generally, humanly, even among animals, a dog or a cat does something crazy, and the cat will crawl back to your feet and sit there looking at you. Without communicating in words. It's some kind of seeking your sympathy. or empathy. It's some kind of love. The foundation is actually love, to reconcile, to forgive at all. If there's no trace of love.
So, but what is he saying? That's what I really want to know.
That's why he's recommending love.
Yeah, show
as
love.
a basis.
Yeah, show love and love
From
it.
what, if I understand what he's saying.
08084275464. That's 08084275464 is extra speed, and we're looking at reconciliation. You can call and just tell us how you reconcile with someone. Maybe you shouldn't preach. Just tell us how you reconcile with someone when you offend them. Family and friends, let's make it easier. Is it more difficult with family and friends, or it's easier?
It's easier with family. Why I'm saying that, because coming from my own family, if it's not difficult, even if you offend someone, it's very easy to reconcile back. Once food is ready, you give it to the person. Automatically, the person knows that you guys are good to go.
Wow. So for family, it's about food.
No, it's not really about food. But I'm saying for my own family, it's not difficult at all to reconcile with somebody. You can just go and meet and say, "So you diverse with me, ba? Oh yeah, now." It don't happen. We just move on. That's for my families, but I don't know how it happens in other homes.
In some families, it's quite tricky. When you have siblings that don't talk to each other, they don't.
Wow.
They live here. They live in the same cities, and the children, the cousins, can't cross to the other side to visit.
Wow.
So the anger and whatever it is that happens between two brothers goes down generations. That at the end, you don't even know what happened between your grandparents, that you and your cousins are not talking at this level. It goes,
Wow. Then they keep on carrying it.
It goes, keeps
generation
going
to
on.
generation.
It gets crazy in some families.
Wow, that's serious.
So it could be a small thing leading to where?
I don't know where they
Generations, yeah. And then you sit down, you ask your dad, why is it that you and this uncle are not talking? He says it's bigger than what you can comprehend, and yet it's affecting you.
Yeah, that's true.
But as a family, I think the first thing is everybody should love themselves. I think with that way, to be easier for reconciliation when it comes to issues in the family.
Well, so let's listen to Alama Shagodebi. One more person.
Okay.
Reconciliation, working without apology, it's not a difficult thing, because in a relationship between a man and a woman, mostly men reconcile without the woman's apology, because women want to be forgiven and forgotten about whatever has happened in the past. So for men, or me as a man, we do that all the time.
But again, what is this one saying?
He's brought up the gender issue there, even though the question was generic, but he's brought up the gender issue of men finding it a lot easier than women and all that, which I don't think sometimes with men it's even more difficult. It's more difficult because the ego comes in. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? And then it comes in, and then
I married you with my heart and
It's true. That's true.
so I
What are you
don't
saying, Trey?
Okay, no, that's true. It's
No, why?
difficult.
How do you mean?
As in, I feel like when you're looking at a man and a woman, for a man to actually apologize to a woman is difficult.
No, it's more difficult with women. If
I don't think so. I think I have seen majority of men, it's difficult for them to say the word "I'm sorry," but they rather try to please you with maybe either they buy suya for you or exactly you understand. So it's left for you to understand.
So
Okay,
is that
that's
not more
the
than
way.
sorry? No,
I don't-
take it. Just put it aside, but side by side with the woman saying sorry 1,000 times and doing the same thing. But if a man is actually taking you out 1,000 times, which would you prefer?
I think I would prefer sorry.
That's a good one. I've heard you. Don't worry. I've heard you. So
what happens in the studio stays in the studio.
reconciliation among family and friends. And we actually want people to call and tell us, because this Alama Shagodebi team, the people with God, I don't know why they're mixing things up for us. Either they're preaching or bringing in gender issues and all of that. But of course, you can call 08084275464. That's 08084275464. Let me try to call that number to be sure it's going through, because sometimes they play tricks on us. But of course, if it is going through, then I'll tell you guys that, hey, it is going through and you can call. So I'm trying to call now. It's on auto, so they're gonna take up my money. Yeah, it just did. So you can call now. How much did they take from me? 1 second. That's 20 kobo. Wow.
Kobo.
20 kobo, yeah.
It's good to hear that sound.
I mean, that's the only thing they're billing in kobo. It's only calls when you flash. They take you some kobo. And do the banks take in kobo?
Yeah, they do.
No.
Sometimes,
They do.
not sometimes
They don't.
You see some amount of some kobo.
They
kobo
don't.
and
They
It's
don't.
like
If you're doing a
it's-
transaction, they're
Yeah,
taking
you know.
250. Even when you don't, Sunday is coming. Everybody,
Definitely.
watch out for your alerts.
Alert on
Debit
Sunday.
alerts. Online transaction that you never did.
That you never did.
They take 350. Okay, reconciliation. You need to
Yes.
reconcile with your bank. 08084275464. And how do you reconcile with someone when you offend them? We go back to Aya-Mnger team.
All right.
Hoping this one will say something that might just work.
For friends that have offended me, how I reconcile with them was very easy. You know, guys, we do our things very easily. Sometimes you could just see somebody on the street and decide to ask him the soccer scores for yesterday, and he will like want to tell you because soccer, we love soccer. Then for a family member, it's as same easy. You can just ask the person if the person visited or knows about the next person.
What is it saying?
Well, he said for guys, it's easier to reconcile because every man, they love football, they love soccer, you know. So they get to like talk about it, you know, and then reconciliation starts. That was what he said. And it's the same thing with family members as well. It's that easy. That was what he said. But I don't think that
I think
applies to him.
Yeah, I think it's looking at a soft landing, a position where you and the guy, like you said, for guys, soccer. Some people don't like soccer, fun enough, anyway.
Okay.
So if you are using soccer, what if the person you offended or a person that offended you doesn't even watch football? It's not a football fan, or what are you going to do? He's looking for something, a topic, to strike a conversation with the person on something that is common, a topic of common interest for both you and the person.
And
So
we'll
that
have a caller here.
Yeah, hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Emeka Young from North Bank, Makodi.
Okay.
morning.
Good morning, Emeka. So tell us,
yes.
how do you reconcile with your family and friends?
You can easily reconcile with anybody you have maybe offended or you have some little problem with by going to the person and
Emeka, how do
you say,
you do it? Tell us how you have done one.
the way I do it is that when I go, if I'm sure that I'm at the fault side or I am the one who is at fault, I will go to you and tell you, please, I'm very sorry for what has happened, and I do believe that it will not happen again. And if I do know that I'm not the person at fault, I can always go and tell you that, please, this thing that happened yesterday, look at how it happened, I am not at fault. If you reason it together, let us put it behind us. Because there is the issue in life that whatever you do, it will remain. The legacies you leave is the people that you leave behind, whatever you do that is good. And those people will look at it as fine things. So I have to go back because you don't know when it will happen. Maybe as you and the person are having grudges, or because you have offended, or you have not even offended him, you did not reconcile with him, and the Lord calls you home. What will you tell God? So it is good immediately when you have those type of things. You are sure within you have offended that person. You have done something that is wrong. You have injured that person by one way or the other. You go to the person and tell the person, I am very, very sorry, my dear. And if it is for your house and you have offended your wife, you tell your wife, I am very sorry. It is not difficult. Sometimes some people may be naggy, some people may not be. They will be looking somehow, how do I tell a woman sorry? It's very, very possible you tell her sorry. And if she have done something to you also, she have to tell you sorry also to keep the family moving.
Right.
And if it's within outside, I think you have to do the same thing. I think this is one of the things that is making Nigeria not moving so much well. Because when we offend the people, the masses, we don't tell the masses sorry for what you have done to them. Maybe the policies you take, the things you are not doing, the things you have promised during your campaign time, I am going to do this, I'm going to do that. and you're unable to do it because there are no resources, you cannot come out and tell the people that I am very sorry. If you look at in other countries, when somebody like a head of state or other things do us something, they tell their people, the masses, I am very sorry. Those things soften down. Those things make people to look very, very, they will look very, they will be very happy that our president, our governor, our ministers, everything discover that what they have done is not good.
I
They
think
tell people sorry.
I think President
Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you very much. I think President Tinubu has apologized over and over. He has called for Nigerians' patience, that things will certainly be fine with time. And particularly, I think the federal government, even just a few days ago, they are saying that, of course, they are aware of the fact that prices of items have never risen this badly. So they are saying that, okay, we are giving a waiver on taxes on some, food items brought into the country. So they have apologized, and that's what Emeka is saying. Hello?
Yes, good. Once
Okay,
again,
that's
Emeka
Emeka
on
coming
the line.
back. All right, yes.
Yes.
You forgot something?
Yes, he have apologized. But the apology, yes, good and fine. Our president is doing the needful. You can see what he did about the third tier of government, that's the local government, that their money should go directly to them. I think the man is doing well. So other people should also take it. The ministers, governors, and every House of Assembly members, every other person should take upon that and make the people, the masses, to be very, very happy, because by the time the masses are happy, the masses knows that this thing that they are doing is not from them, it's not their fault.
Right.
I think people, them also will look at it that these things are, when you just tell people sorry heals a lot of sicknesses.
Okay.
Sorry heals problems. Thank you very much. God bless Speed FM as we speed on. I believe that the speeding will become a speed that will never have any crash, but speed that will make us to look that people knows us. Thank you very much.
Right.
God bless you.
You're welcome. Okay, so when people want to address us, you see that there is that conflict between either saying Asking Radio or Speed FM. So that's why. So yeah, Speed FM or Asking Radio.
Anyone that comes easier for
exactly, it's easier. So it's reconciliation, and let me just say this a little bit. Talking about local government autonomy. For us in Benue, that shouldn't be news to us, right? Because the governor recently granted full autonomy to local government areas in the state, even before the Supreme Court judgment. So for us in Benue, it's not news. So we lead.
We're ahead.
We're ahead of that, so it's no news.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's reconciliation, and Emeka brought in political reconciliation. When you fail to deliver on your mandate, he says it should. But we are talking about family anyway. So don't take us into politics. Family and friends. Yeah, reconciliation. When they give you free awoof to call, they say you should call family and friends. So these are the closest to you. Yeah. So call now 08084275464. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave your comment. We are looking at YouTube as well. And come to Facebook, follow this link. So let's go back to Aya-Mnger team. Hope we have a call here.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Morning.
Yeah, my name is Wedi Patrice.
Okay, tell us, how do you reconcile with somebody?
Yeah, my own is very, very easy, because being a minister, and I think that is one among my special aspect of focus when I teach. It's very, very important. I do it very simple, go to the person and tell the person, see, I'm very sorry for whatever that happened between us. I think it's very important that we should move on. And if the person also understands, then he or she will forgive, and then we move on. And again, I was listening to Mr. Emeka. I agree with him, but I want to disagree with him on one particular point he made.
Okay.
He said that telling the person that this thing happened, I'm not really at fault. You know, you don't need to justify yourself. If you are sorry, you're sorry, completely sorry. Don't tell the person you are at fault, and then if the person understand with you, but you will move on. Not you telling the person that this is how it happened, and this is my own part, and I was not really at fault. You
Okay, so
understand?
from what you are saying, when you begin to say, it wasn't my fault, it means it's not going to end.
Yeah, the person, it may provoke the person the more, because the person might be thinking, yes, you are truly at fault. And you coming back to say, I was not really at fault, it must still provoke the person, and the practice will continue.
Right. So what it
So,
means is that
why
even
does
when
it-
you are not wrong, just say I was wrong and let it finish.
Say sorry does not really mean that you are wrong.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you may just say sorry because to allow the peace to reign, and then the journey continues.
That's true.
You understand? So,
Yeah.
and I always tell, most especially couples, there are some other ways to reconcile with your partner. Not to say sorry, but there are other ways.
All right.
When you offend your partner in the house, and then especially women, women they can. There are some women who are bad.
His line is breaking,
Yeah.
but of
It
course,
is.
I think it's he has said what he wants to say. It's reconciliation with family and friends on extra speed. Some of these things, you see, reconciliation is a big deal. We are looking at it from family and friends, but even it goes up to nations and all of that, and it leads to wars and wow. So it's a big deal.
It
It
is.
is.
So that's why you see Pope Francis, sometimes when we're discussing, you see his frustration.
Yes.
He is just begging that nobody wins in
Yeah,
war.
exactly.
Just resolve this conflict
This thing,
and move
yeah.
on.
And nobody is willing to.
Nobody is willing to.
That's it.
Because at those levels, Israel thinks Hamas is hiding under,
Children's hospital.
children's hospital,
Yeah.
children's schools, and they have evidence, they have seen them. And so to get rid of Hamas, you have to do this. And then Hamas has taken people hostage from Israel. You are
Yeah.
not releasing them, then you are releasing videos. And
All of
and then the
that.
family members are angry with Israeli Prime
Yeah.
Minister that you are
All
not
of this stuff.
negotiating enough. So it simply means reconciliation has to take place
It
at that
has
level.
to.
Otherwise, no peace, even at home.
That's the thing. I think first of all, people want peace, but they don't know how to go about it. Just like when you hear the Pope speak, I think the first thing that is in his mind is these things are not difficult. Nobody should be a winner in this thing. The first thing is, let's look at it. Children are being hurt. You understand? Families are just being scattered everywhere. So the first thing, if you really want this peace, nobody is bigger than another person. Even if you are not at fault, just go on. I'm sorry, let peace just reign. How can we resolve these things? You understand?
And it's really, you see, whatever place, when we're discussing, I keep telling you that whatever plays at the global stage is what plays at the family level.
That's true.
Yeah, because at home too, either one friend outside is telling you, no, but I knew your husband was wrong. Don't even go and tell us that the men will ride on you.
Yeah.
So they're telling you that. So at the global stage, look at NATO. They are meeting in Washington. Now at that level, they are bringing China in now to say, okay, you are the ones that are helping Russia. But a lot of them, America and European countries, are even giving
Involved.
Ukraine, they're giving Ukraine long-range missiles and saying, fire it. Fire it from here. So if you can fire an American missile to Ukrainian territory, it means America is directly hitting.
Involved.
So why
Exactly.
can't you guys simply say, hey, Russia, you were flogging your big brother not to join us, these bad guys called NATO, because that's what Russia thinks.
Yeah.
But you have flogged your younger brother enough. Let it end.
Let it end.
Instead of that,
They
you are
just-
talking of giving tens of thousands of billions of dollars to buy weapons.
Just for war.
For war,
Protect it,
exactly.
yeah.
The
To
end
kill
result is
who?
to take out humans.
Exactly, to take humans. And then you go back home and you can hug your own child.
Exactly.
So that's the same thing that happens at the family level. One person is saying, Onemega, the Lumunga. And then
You
it
have to
goes
prove
on.
yourself.
Self, that you are the man.
Yeah.
How can you go and apologize to your
a
wife?
woman, yeah.
To a woman. Oh, no, no,
Exactly.
because you were the one that married.
Yeah, that married her.
So that's the same role America and the rest of them are playing here.
Wow.
And then nothing ends. Come on.
It's terrible.
It is terrible. So you can see Pope feels like crying.
Yeah, he feels like that because it's more like, look at the little children and see how they reconcile. It's not a big deal. So why are you people thinking this
you
thing
can
that
decide not to throw a missile.
exactly.
And it will end.
Just like you see children, they have issues and the parents, they want to go and why would you allow your child to do this?
Neighbors.
And next thing you see those two children, they are playing and meanwhile you the adults,
you are still quarreling.
Exactly. So
and they are telling you.
I think we should learn from children. We should learn from children. It will help us.
And that
a
happens
lot.
in neighborhoods where a mom will tell the children not to cross to the other door. In this ordinary houses where you call them face me, I face you, not to cross to the other door, not to drink water from that side, not to eat from that. And then the parents are away and these children are back from school, home alone.
Yeah.
And then they all converge in one room, play, and then one of the parents arrives.
That's true. It reminds me of our son, Kavinse, when he told me a friend of his that the guy he beats him. So I was like, whenever he beats you, you should bite him back or slap him, So he came back home the next day and was like, oh, this is what happened. This person beats me. And I was like, why didn't you fight back? He was like, no, he's my friend. I was like, are you serious? I was not looking like the bad guy.
The same friend that used a seat to hit his
ear. And they tried to
and you were suffering to get appointment with an ENT specialist.
I'm telling you.
And the guy was still saying, that's my friend.
Yeah, that's his friend. That if he becomes a policeman, he would arrest me instead.
Okay, so that's children. So if you actually have the mind of a child, reconciliation will be easier.
Of course.
It's 08084275464. That's 08084275464. It's extra speed, and we're looking at reconciliation. Beginning with family and friends.
Yes.
Before we talk about Russia and Ukraine, let's hear what people are saying here.
Okay.
Reconciliation works without it cannot work if you offend me and you do not apologize. It do not work.
So what about when he offends? He's just saying.
I mean, the tables have to turn the other way around.
Of course.
If that's his standard, that's the criteria upon which he forgives, then it has to be the other way around too.
Exactly.
If he offends someone else, then he has to. But funny enough, people like this hardly apologize because this is their stand. They have set up their own perimeter around their own empire. They expect you to approach and apologize to them for offending them, but they can't step out of that fence, that barricade they made for themselves within their hearts.
That's
they hardly
true.
do.
That's true.
So
and they're always right.
Exactly the way he's sounding, he will always be right because he's saying that when you offend me, you must apologize.
Apologize,
right?
yes.
Otherwise, it's not going to work. So if you can't actually humble yourself up to that level, it simply means he will never ever see when he's wrong.
They are always right.
Perhaps we're just speculating. He may not be like that, but the way he sounds.
Hopefully. And there was something very said about justification, trying to justify yourself when you are tendering an apology. I think that thing is kind of tricky because there are times that you want to apologize, or maybe you apologize, you don't know when it will come out from your mouth, and you're trying to tell the person, it's not my fault, it was because of this and that,
Of course, the truth is what Wadipa said is true, because at that point, nobody wants you to begin to say how wrong or how right you were, because whatever must have ignited that conflict, you are just repeating it. That is what made that person angry. So when you come back part 2 or part 3 trying to still justify why you did what you did,
it's more like point full.
But sometimes it's necessary because an issue could have triggered the conflict.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I call back.
Okay, wait a minute. Go on.
Yeah, so I was trying to make a point. Sometimes it's not necessary to say sorry, but your actions speak a lot. I was trying to make set an example between couples. When you offend your partner, and maybe that person is keeping marriage with you, you can easily do something that will settle the issue. You know, you can easily take the person out, give the person a very nice treat, and then at that point, I think the person may just decide to let go of everything that happened. And talking about nations, you know, this thing called reconciliation, it's a process, and I think it must be done with humility. When you talk about nations settling conflicts, reconciling, I think their ego will never allow them to do that. Because if you look at what happened in the Bible between Esau and his brother, the gentleman wake up one day and say, okay, let me go. Even if you kill, let him kill me. And when they met, they reconcile and forget each other. And they continue. But can that one happen in our nations today?
It can.
We're
all humans, it can happen.
It can happen if only they humble themselves.
Yeah,
the leaders,
that's
if
the
all
key
the leaders
word.
can humble themselves and then forsake their ego and then come together and say, look, we need to settle this issue
That's the
amicably
key
once
word.
and for all.
Exactly. All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Wodikpa. You see, from what he's saying, I'm just sitting here and feeling like, okay, if I'm Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, for instance, I wake up and in Ukraine and I say, hey, you guys are just destroying us. We're brothers. Stop giving me your billions of dollars to buy weapons. Come and feed my people. We're no longer fighting. It will just end like that, and everybody will be ashamed of themselves.
Until the particular titles are being given to nations, superpowers, developed nations, developing nations, third world, until those titles are scrapped. The super, the G7 or the G what, the rest of those big ones that know that they're established economies that grant asylum to countries that are ravaged by war. They have all these things.
War caused by them anyway.
Caused by them, of course.
Exactly.
They will keep looking down on this and they will keep causing war in some of those places to extract natural resources.
Yeah,
to go and
so
use for
it
them.
happens.
It's going to be difficult for such people to come down.
Exactly, but you see, we just look at the global stage as just a larger picture. But is it something that plays at home? It's just something that plays at home. That one member, family and friends we're talking about, right?
Yes.
So sometimes your friend outside, just as we were saying, it could be you, the man, exactly, hanging out with friends. And you are saying that I don't like seeing my wife sad. She's been sad for a long time. I think I was wrong. I want to go home and apologize. Then they're the ones telling you, only you will become woman rapper. So they're telling you all those things. Yeah. And we are saying that is the same thing countries are doing, the bigger countries are doing under the guise of stopping reconciliation.
Yeah, sure.
So as we said, that understandably, that's where you see Pope Francis feeling like crying. Because as you said, he feels like, look, you can do this thing just one day.
Exactly.
If you want peace to reign, it can just be one day and it will go. The same thing in the family.
Yeah.
So if you come back as a husband and you tell your family, I'm very sorry for what I did. I don't want to see your mom this way. I don't want you guys to be this way. I've been such an irresponsible father, taking money, not taking care of you, going to drink and lavishing my money, but I'm sorry, from today it's not going to happen. They will respect you and everything will go on.
That's
but
true.
one friend somewhere outside is telling you, don't do it.
Yeah.
You are the man.
Belittling yourself. Yeah, that's true.
And that's the point I was making, because like Wodipa said something about justification, self-justification, coming to like, to state one or two places where you think you were right and the other person was wrong. Every conflict is triggered by a reason. There could be an issue. There must be an issue on ground that triggered the conflict that led to that misunderstanding between the 2 or 3 persons. It could be more. Sometimes if the issue on ground is not addressed, sorry is useless. If the issue on ground is not addressed properly so that you don't go back to it. Okay, what, for example, a couple, maybe the husband doesn't like the way the wife squeezes the toothpaste, squeezes in the middle, and he wants it to be squeezed from bottom to top. And then she squeezes in the middle and he complains and she says sorry. So he arranges it. Tomorrow again, he goes to the bedroom to paste and then finds out that the toothpaste is squeezed again in the middle. She says sorry. That toothpaste is the problem. It continues. She keeps squeezing until she stops squeezing in the middle. Her sorry to him is actually meaningless to him because he knows she will always come and say sorry. She'll go back to the toothpaste and hold it.
So what happens in that kind of situation is, I know Mmemshima was doing that at the point.
Yeah, but I think for peace to reign,
I just go and do it, Mmemshima.
Yes, for me, for peace to reign, I feel because the peace you are seeking for, it's also in your hands too. So if you want peace to reign, if you're
so Mmemshima,
this is who.
Wait, let me expose you a bit. So Mmemshima was squeezing toothpaste in a middle way, and I was like, why not just squeeze so she would say sorry and do it again? So I decided.
I just give a random example. I wasn't there.
Mmemshima, calm down. So I decided that each time she uses first, for her, if you don't brush, nothing else takes place. So that's the first thing she does. She must brush before she even talks. Okay. And I'm like, come on, there's some bacteria and other things in your mouth that you may even aid some stuff. So there are a few things that you should, but for her, it's a no-no. So when I go, I think she has stopped that she's doing the right thing now. So I start from the bottom and I just squeeze it and I keep.
No, do you know what happened?
Mmemshima, you are trying to explain.
No, it's not that. But
there will be no reconciliation. Don't explain. When it says that you shouldn't explain.
But I just feel I wasn't the one doing that.
Who was doing it?
I don't know. Because I know right from the home, my dad never even liked that at all. He gets angry whenever he sees toothpaste
so
like that.
So invincible hands were coming to
I just feel like it was the kids that they were the ones doing.
They had their own. They had their kiddies.
Okay, maybe, but okay, it's well.
Okay, she doesn't want to accept.
Thank God I don't do it again. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Sam Kange. I'm calling from High Level.
Okay. So tell us, how do you reconcile with family and friends?
The first thing, if I'm wrong, and that is when I'm absolutely sure that I'm wrong, I'll be the person to, yes. Because when you are wrong in a family and friends. In fact, family and friends is just one for me. So when you are wrong, you will know it deep down. And I'll call you and first be very formal about it. I say, you see, this thing that happened, this is the reason why it happened. And I think I reacted negatively. And I feel that it's better we move forward. And by moving forward, we should let go what is.
So when you are not wrong.
And when I am not wrong.
And no one is coming forward.
When no one is coming forward. I'll be sure that no one is coming forward because issues of ego, even in a family setting, issues of ego also take place. So you wait for that ego period to elapse. Then reality sets in. Sometimes you will even see remorse in your partner or your kids. Without their saying sorry, their body language tells you that they are sorry and all of that. At that point, it's easier to reconcile. But when the ego is still at its peak, if you go for reconciliation, they'll still tell you off without saying anything. They'll just listen and tell you that I've had, and that will be the end of it. But when that ego period elapses, and you now go to them and say, see, this thing has been dragging for so long. I'm not feeling comfortable. I think it is becoming toxic to me, and we should move forward. Let's assume that I wronged you, but I want us to move forward. It becomes easier for you.
Yeah, right.
But you have to monitor the ego period very, very carefully, because if it is within the ego period, nothing will come out of it. And like somebody in the studio rightly pointed out, problem. How do I know you are not going back to do the same thing? Why will you keep doing the same thing and telling me sorry? How will I keep doing the same thing and telling you sorry and expecting you to let it go? It's more difficult at that point. So once you identify the root cause, it becomes easier for you to move forward, whether you are right or you are wrong. But you need to convince yourself that I am wrong and what I'm doing is sincere. Right. Because we've had instances where, for instance, my wife doesn't like apologize, and everybody knows. And she will even tell me in good times that for apology, this apology thing it's difficult for me. I say I know. But I expect that we should move forward. So the body language for me is the first and most important thing. Once I feel remorse, I step in to kill the moment so that it doesn't go further.
All right. Thank you very much.
This is my contribution.
Yeah, thank you. I think that he has brought in a very valuable angle to this. He's saying you should wait for the ego period to elapse. Yeah. And you just see the body language that somebody is feeling some sense of remorse at that point, and then you just go for the kill.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you just go to say,
I hear you. I hear you. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And I think
that's true. That's true. You have accepted the apology, yes.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
I just like me here what the conversation between King James and Mmemshima.
Okay.
I read the book where a marriage got broken because of that toothpaste of
Serious.
Just because of toothpaste. The man say, I'll not do it again. The woman say, okay, me too, I'll not do it again.
Serious.
Yeah. Thank God you are able to settle your own with Mmemshima.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to add to what my other brother in the studio said. You know, there are some certain things that need to be addressed before reconciliation, but there is a way to do it. What I was trying to say is for someone to come up to explain, justify, you do this, and that is why me too, I do this. You know, but if you must, discuss what is happening between the two parties, there is a way you will do it so that both of you can really understand what is happening between you and then reconcile. Not really coming up to say, yes, I was doing this because you do this.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much. Okay, so he's trying to say, that's Wedipa, right?
Yeah, Wedipa.
He's also trying to say, don't ever come back with explanation. Is that what he's saying? Yeah. Don't try to justify any action. Is that what he's saying? Yeah.
I don't really think so. Sorry.
Anyway, let me. He has said it. It should be clear to everybody.
Okay.
I was reading. That's why a little bit divided.
Oh, sorry.
So back on Facebook, G. Godfrey says the issue of reconciling is very difficult at the same time simple. On my own part, that is referring to my own self. If you offend me, I guess you should be the one to come to me and tender an apology. If it is not done like this, that person that offended you will not know his wrongdoing. And having an interface to resolve issues is the key to every human being. But in a situation where there is not done like having to wound you and use cotton wool to cover together with plaster, forgetting the ampicillin or other things to put before plaster and the rest. So for me, if I have to buy an idea of apologizing to someone that wronged me, I know I have not done anything to. That's my own submission. Thank you. There's someone on the line.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mmemshima King. Good morning, viewers in the studio.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Samuel calling from Lagos.
Okay.
Right, Samuel. How is Lagos?
Thank you. Lagos is very cool this morning.
Oh, wow. So tell us, how do you reconcile with family and friends?
Reconciliation is very powerful. It's very powerful. And for me, I believe that in terms of challenges, misunderstanding, and all of that in the family is something that we cannot do without. Because when you reconcile with person, you not just reconcile with that person, you bring peace and you earn respect to yourself. Let's just assume that you have issue with someone, more especially sometimes when I have issue with someone. The first steps to reconcile with that person is apology. An apology does not have anything to do with explanation. When you go to somebody to apologize and you are explaining things, in the process you can also try to prove to make a point that you were not wrong either, but you want to apologize. So at that point, you just apologize and move on. And when you apologize, you make the opposite feel stupid by pushing that case further. So at that point, things came to an end, and you become one. And another one is, for me, I'm not just, something happened recently. In our group, we are like 34 to 35 in numbers. We are friends. So we do all kinds of things in order to help people. So there is one guy in my community which I met in Lagos. I just bring him up. I was feeding him with food first. I give him a job because he was collecting 25. I now found a job for him, so he was working. So I now bring him to the group, because when I bring him to the group, my expectation was for him to save something, at least to be able to do something. So the person was in charge of money. Recently, his account was compromised. So we have to give him the charge of account. Within 2 weeks, the money entered into his own account, about 450,000. And this guy used the money to pay gambling.
Wow.
And when we requested the money was not there. At the first, we thought it was joke, but it was true. So the guy started sending me a voice note and crying and all of that. I'm the leader of the group. And this group, mind you, personnel are on the group the most. We are personnel are like 30, 40 or 50% on the group. So I look at it, and at that point, everybody was waiting for me to come and say something. And whatever I'm going to say is what we are going to do. So I tell them to give me 2 days, and everybody think I was claiming too big on that. And I was looking for a solution. Because at that point, I first think we have the opportunity to punish the guy, and even if we want him to go to the prison. First, we will arrest him. Second, they may charge him to court. At the end of the day, he will go to prison. But if we have done all of that, then what are we going to achieve? Because first, we are going to spend money. Second, he's going to lose his own job. Third, we don't know how many years or how many months he's going to spend in the prison. And at the end of the day, what are we going to achieve? Are we going to get that money back? That was the question. So I asked all of this, and I could not get the right answer. So everybody was expecting me to come out and say something. I decided to come out and say, look, we are in this already. They say a friend in need is a friend indeed. So now, he's a friend in need, and this is the time we can come out for him. He run into it, we are not with him, but now we have to be with him. So what we are going to do is the solution. So see how we are going to do it. It's very painful, but we have to be patient, waiting for him to pay this own money with his salary. And we calculated the salary, if he's going to pay this money, up to 6 months or 7 months. And people were saying, no, we can't do that. I said, okay, if we are not going to do that, how are we going to do it? That is the better option. So at that point, at the end of the day, everybody agreed with me and appreciated me, and we move on, and we are still living happily. So that is the powerful reconciliation.
He's still paying, I believe.
Okay, he's paying, yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Samuel. Samuel, we talk about he brings in a lot of wisdom. Yeah.
Yes.
So you see, it has worked. Just as he said, it's bad behavior to carry people's money to go and gamble. It has happened.
Yeah, so what do you do?
He's still working. So they protected your payouts and money.
Exactly.
So if you react the other way, people wanted to react in anger. So key things about reconciliation is anger management. Don't go claiming rights. And you see what Tina says, that ego period is still incubating. Just allow it to elapse
before
you make that move. Make that move right now, baby.
And another thing Tina said for me that I feel when you want to reconcile, there should be understanding as well. Something he said about his wife. You understand that it's difficult for her to apologize, but he understands that aspect of his wife, so he cannot pressure her to apologize. He just has to just understand. Once she says that, automatically he knows that it's a normal thing. So he has that understanding. So understanding too can also help for a perfect reconciliation as well.
These are the key things, but as we keep saying, at family level, with friends, to the global stage, the things, so what we're saying now is what you find like only Pope Francis saying this, because it feels like, look, it's just one step.
Yeah,
you will save all those useless killings. He has said meaningless killings. He has said a lot, because he says that, come on, this is a very simple thing, it can be done. But the other guys, the umpires, are standing by and saying, no, you don't agree, we'll give you weapons.
Yeah.
We'll do this.
We are behind you and all of
you
that.
You are behind you.
For selfish interest.
Exactly, yeah.
Look at all those big countries claiming to be behind Ukraine, for instance. But Russia still sent some missiles all through last week. Destroying
innocent people are dying.
Exactly.
Yeah, the innocent people, that's what hurts the most.
Look at that child.
If you check well, most of those people, I don't think anybody alive in Ukraine now knows the history of this or was there when the whole problem started.
No.
So generations support. The same thing with Israel.
Exactly.
People who were never born, their great grandfathers were not alive. The problem has continued because of the absence of reconciliation between the two powers.
So that is how it happens when it doesn't start from the home. It will go among your friends, among your colleagues, and then nations. And politicians also doing it as if they own the rest of us. So it's only during campaigns that politicians, for instance, think that we have value. They go about begging us, but once we vote them, they don't listen to us. When you say reconcile, and you feel like, no, if he's not doing what I want, then I'm not going to. Come on.
Everybody wants to show
even in offices among colleagues, it's very important because sometimes both of you leave the job. One is privileged to have another job somewhere as an HR, and then some years later you come there for interview and then he sees you. Or she sees you. Exactly. It reminds you what happened in 1945 when you were working with Asking Radio. And then interview that you are qualified for in every aspect.
They will disqualify you automatically.
All right. So reconciliation is key, and we think it's simple.
Yeah, it's
just
simple.
like Pope Francis thinks. It's like he's the only human being or the only world leader that thinks it's simple.
Yeah, he's the only person that thinks it's simple. I don't know about others because nobody has come out to say anything.
Nobody else does because if you look at Joe Biden, U.S. president, for instance, you are battling with Democrats telling you about your mental abilities and capabilities of running.
Yes, they introduced Zelensky as Putin and then corrected himself at NATO meeting. Yeah,
exactly. So for the next 4 years, nobody is sure of what you're going to do. And then instead of you to rest, you are busy facing Russia there and all of that. Okay, it's time to say bye.
Bye.
King Radio 98.5 Speed FM. Catch us if you can.
She higon kahu atankro yin pepe. Number one na vesisha Asking Radio TV. Ma kamo wa wene otwe hwandi. Zane hemeno ngwa Asking Radio. Mso ne kiki.
As King Radio 98.5 Speed FM. Catch us if you can.
Asking Radio News on the mobile app, on smart speaker, online at askingradio.com and on radio on 98.5 Speed FM. It's now time for Asking Radio News.